Says, yo, why you sweating me? What the hell is he talking about? What does he mean by that?
But when it came to Kobe's basketball talent, nothing was lost in the translation.
Basketball is universal. No matter what you spoke, if you can go out there and play, it just didn't matter. You know what I mean? You was going to fit in no matter what.
There was a big buzz in the town about a 13-year-old who was playing at our middle school. And after 5 minutes, I turned to my assistant coaches and said, this kid's a pro.
Philadelphia's a big basketball city. And there were a bunch of guys my age who already had an established reputation of being the top players. So I had to come in and prove myself to them.
Given Kobe's game, he had no trouble proving himself. But making friends was another story.
He was popular from afar and likable, but he's very guarded. He's very careful with who he lets in.
He played ball. The ball was his best friend. Weekend nights when he was younger, he didn't go to parties or hang out. He played ball.
He could be like a senior in high school playing in a middle school. Nobody could touch him. Nobody could stop him.
In the fall of 1992, Kobe started at Lower Merion High School. He was 6'2", and the finest prospect his coaches had ever seen.
We heard there was a former ball player's son coming. Supposedly he was a pretty decent, flashy player. And there was this tall, skinny kid, around 6'4", 87 pounds, it seemed. He was wearing his father's Italian uniform, stuff with Le Coq Sportif on his shirt and whatnot. And it was awkward, but as soon as he stepped on the court, you knew what he was all about.
One thing that made it almost easy to coach Kobe, and I think maybe instantaneously gain the respect of his teammates, was his work ethic.
He would practice more than anybody else that I ever saw at high school. I come into the facility early in the morning, 5:45 or so, and I'd hear the thumping of the basketball. I went upstairs, and there was Kobe still in drills.
I would stay late after practice, and I would work on a particular aspect of my game. Then we go out into the game, I would see it paying off. And that was the most important thing to me. Because you can spend hours working in the game, but if you don't have the confidence and those skills to execute them during the game, then they mean nothing.
Lower Merion High's basketball team had been nothing to shout about for half a century. But now, with the new kid from Italy, the team started to draw.
It started off, we were playing in front of maybe 100 people, our parents, maybe a few of our friends and this and that. And as he got older and as we got better, the crowd started to fill up.
We went from having 200 or 300 people at a boys basketball game to having 1,500, and it became fever pitch.
We won 20 games when he was a sophomore. You would look at Kobe as an opposing coach when he was in 10th grade and say, oh my God, I've got to deal with this for 2 more years.
In Kobe's junior year, Lower Merion went to the state tournament but lost in the second round. The loss left Kobe devastated, but determined.
One thing I'll never forget Kobe saying was, I'm not allowing this to happen again.
So it's almost comical to hear him say this. So we were kind of just like, Kobe, relax, it's not your fault, and all that. But he took it personally and said that he'd win the title the next year.
The next year, Kobe kept his promise. Lower Merion went all the way, winning the Pennsylvania State Championship for the first time in 53 years. Kobe was named All-American High School Player of the Year. That spring, Kobe, by now a celebrity himself, escorted the pop singer Brandy to his high school prom.
Well, I just bumped into her. I didn't have a date for the prom. So I just asked her to go.
One of Kobe's classmates was the daughter of John Lucas, then coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Lucas had seen Kobe play and invited him to work out with the Sixers during the offseason.
The big buzz at the time was that he was just ripping up Jerry Stackhouse in one-on-one. Possibly at that time was the first seed that was planted that maybe college was not going to be a part of his future.
I like LaSalle, North Carolina, Duke, Michigan. Those are my top schools right now. I am considering the NBA.
Kobe was heavily recruited by all the top basketball schools, but his goal and lifelong dream was to play in the NBA, and he wanted it now.
I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
We're flabbergasted with his decision. How can he say he's going to do this? He came across looking a bit arrogant. He came across looking naive.
You're my idol. Remember me when you're in the NBA.
But Kobe had his own agenda, and he didn't care what anybody thought.
He was getting smeared all over this town, and so was Joe. So it was a difficult time, but Kobe had a dream.
What would you do if you're a father and your kid comes up to you and says, I can go to college for 4 years, or I can go make $3 or $4 million this next year?
Did you say to him that he has to get a college education at some point in his life?
Oh, that's part of the deal. I mean, that's automatic.
He had all the attributes where he could have gone to college and would have survived very well in college and done well in the college game and had plenty of time to come to the NBA and play. But he was anxious to be here where the game was the best.
When people knew that I was contemplating going straight to the NBA, the Wolves came out immediately. I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA.
When Kobe Bryant announced in 1996 that he was skipping college and going straight to the NBA, he was bombarded by a hailstorm of controversy.
I saw it on the local news, and I just remember thinking, what's with those goofy glasses on his head? Who does this guy think he is? It was pretty wacky to think that here's some kid you went to high school with who's going to the pros.
It was all over the place. It was in the newspapers, it was in radio talk shows. Should he do this? Should he do that? Education first, sports this. He's not ready. Parents are messing up. They didn't raise him right. It's crazy things, silly things.
Only a few players had made the leap successfully from high school to the NBA, and they were big men. Kobe was 6'5", small by NBA standards. Laker general manager Jerry West had heard about the brash kid from Philadelphia and wanted to see for himself. He invited Kobe to work out with the Lakers a few weeks before the draft.
We put him against Michael Cooper, who was one of the really great defensive players we had in the NBA. We played him against Larry Drew, and it was a joke to watch him march over these people. And the kid was 17 years old at that point in time.
He told me, he said this was the greatest workout that he'd ever seen in his history of working out players before the NBA draft, and that Kobe had the chance to be one of the greatest players to ever play the game.
I thought it was an absolute easy decision to try to do anything we could to get him.
The Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School.
The Charlotte Hornets picked Kobe in the first round, 13th overall. Jerry West then astonished many observers by offering his starting center, Vlade Divac, in trade.
There were some upset people when we made that trade. They might deny that, but there were some upset people because we traded a starting center for him and a very good player in Vlade Divac. But I've always felt that the things that set teams apart is risk-taking.
Trading Vlade seemed a lot less risky only days later when the Lakers signed free agent Shaquille O'Neal to replace him. The dynamic duo was in place. In the summer of 1996, Kobe, along with parents Joe and Pam, moved to LA to begin living out his dream.
Kobe was playing in Los Angeles Laker uniform, and it was just amazing that 10 years ago when this kid was 8 or 9 years old, that now he's playing in the NBA against me, and I played against his dad.
The fans were anxious to see him play, and Kobe lost no time in showing the fans he could play. In the rookie All-Star game, he led all scoring with 30.